where the search for a convicted murderer, 33-year-old Curtis Reese Jr., is ongoing right now. He escaped the Tucker units.
State police have had helicopters in the air, also ground crews searching for this inmate. Our Matt Johnson joins us now live from Jefferson County with the very latest. Matt, what can you tell us?
Hi, Beth. We're on Highway 15 South right now, and every car that comes through here is getting searched, whether it's through the back seat or in the trunks, and that's just part of the ground search. There are some dogs that have been released into the field. There are some horses that officials are out here looking for this convicted killer with, and through the air, the state police have helped out, and there's a helicopter that's circling the grounds here. Right now, this is an ideal place for a man to be on the loose. This is a very rural area, and there's a lot of barns, there's a lot of small houses. So right now, crews are really working against the clock as long as they have this daylight on their side. But Curtis Reese is a convicted murderer, and he's believed to have escaped just a few miles from here in the isolated community of Ferda. And it's not clear, officials are not clear how he was able to jump on that 18-wheeler and escape. Right now, they're still trying to investigate what exactly happened while trying to find this man and while they still have some sunlight. So right now, the search has been going on since about 1:30 p.m. Right now, we have no idea kind of where he is, but that's kind of why this perimeter is so long. It's all the way from really the prison in Tucker all the way through England. There's a roadblock, but if you are able to get through, you're going to have your car searched, and that's just a precaution that people are taking here. They're asking them if you're alone or if you have anybody in the trunk, because this man is considered to be dangerous. It's not clear if he has any help on the outside, but right now they're really trying to wrap up this investigation before nightfall comes in, and we'll continue to follow this, of course. Beth, back to you. A massive search through air and Jefferson County fields has yet to turn up an escaped convicted murderer.
As long as we believe he's in this area and that he might be found here, we will be here searching for him. And that will be, if that's into the night, that's into the night.
More than 100 officers have been on the hunt.
Y'all got something in there we need to know about?
For 33-year-old Curtis Reese, who escaped from the Tucker unit at 1:30 today. Reese was convicted in 1998 as a teenager for first-degree murder. Another inmate jumped with Reese from a moving 18-wheeler, but was found earlier between England and Tucker.
It's possible that Reese is injured as well and hiding somewhere. We're just not real sure right now.
An abandoned camper and an abandoned truck with supplies have turned up, but the dark and the open fields are at law enforcement's disadvantage.
Some of that type of terrain is challenging, but we do have tracking dogs and we have officers on horseback, so that will help us.
Be very careful. Yes, sir.
Nearby communities are on alert as authorities continue the search.
Making sure you didn't have any unwanted passage. Okay.
For a killer who could be anywhere. Hi, Scott. Well, manpower has tripled since yesterday, but still that hasn't produced any significant clues as to where Curtis Reese could be. Well over 300 authorities have joined the manhunt for a 33-year-old convicted killer, Curtis Reese, since his escape from the Tucker unit yesterday. What was mostly a Jefferson County search has spread. Search dogs and officers are now scouring through eastern Lono County, and officers still inspect vehicles.
Finding him and getting him back in prison is our top priority right now.
Reports of a man running through a field in Allport rerouted the search this morning. Meanwhile, word about the search is spreading quickly in the Tucker community.
Then they said he was a murderer. I said, oh my God, a murderer. I said, wow, they need to really catch him.
Rural terrain, open fields, and plenty potential hiding spots may have helped Reese stay hidden for almost 28 hours now.
We don't really have any reason to believe that he's gone from the area, but we're also keeping in mind, and it's very obvious he could have been picked up.
Folks in Tucker and nearby communities say they have no choice but to stay on guard until Reese is actually back where he belongs.
Really don't know what this man have on his mind. You really don't. If he killed one time, he might kill again.
Yeah, and that's a sense of how worried a lot of people in the community are. They worry that he may have armed himself while he's been out, but officials just don't know at this point. But they do say that he is dangerous, and if you see him, call police. Back to you guys.
Matt, since we're 30 hours in now, give us a scope of how big this search is. How many other agencies are helping out?
Sure, every major agency in the area is helping out: Game and Fish, state police, local law enforcement. This is really top priority for the Department of Correction, and they've gotten a lot of help from local law enforcement who want this guy back behind bars. Scott.
It may seem pretty quiet out here at the Tucker unit, but I can tell you crews are still searching Tucker, Lonoke County, and surrounding areas looking for Curtis Reese Jr. But let's not forget he's actually from Benton. And today I spoke with one prosecuting attorney in that 98 murder case that received a startling phone call Monday evening. In 1998, J. Brent Standridge served as chief deputy prosecutor in the trial that convicted Curtis Reese Jr. with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Standridge said Reese and Jason Meredith robbed and killed 2 of their friends one July evening.
That certainly was one of the larger ones, because first of all, you had 2 people and 2 young people that were murdered, and then you also had 2 relatively young people that were the defendants.
It was a phone call from former Saline County prosecutor Monday evening telling Standridge that Reese Jr. was on the run after escaping prison that caused a little concern.
Just one of the things that in past, whether it's been working at the Attorney General's office or working as a prosecutor, you always know that, you know, if you end up prosecuting people and putting them in prison, that there's always a possibility something could happen as a result of that.
We went to Reese's last known address on Congo Road, and the man that lives there wasn't happy to see us. But off camera, neighbors told me they never knew of Reese living at that location since they moved there in '93. Now, regarding that residence you saw there on Congo Road, I tried to actually find out if that was an actual address for Reese Jr., and the Arkansas Department of Corrections couldn't confirm or deny whether he actually ever lived at that address. Christina, back over to you.
Authorities believe that Reese was driven here from the prison by people who knew him. Now the investigation continues, but the search is over. Curtis Reese Jr. was able to escape the Tucker unit, but in the end, he couldn't escape the manhunt.
He was desperate, and he just wanted to stay out of prison, and he did for a few days, but now that's over with.
A 3.5-day search ended after authorities say Reese's outside help confessed to his hiding spot. Once they got here, they tracked Reese inside a cave where he was using rope he stole from a very surprised local hunter.
Very confused and very surprised, heart pumping pretty good.
After about 20 minutes of walking from the nearest road, we're coming across one of the caves that Reese could have been hiding in today. Now, along the way, we're seeing some food wrappers as we come into this cave in a real isolated area of the McJester community. Now, inside, we see some wood that could have been used to keep him warm, and also a machete on the ground. Now, it's unclear if this is the actual cave he was in or how long he was actually in this area, but when authorities found out he was here, he was apprehended today around 10:30.
The look on his face said it all. He's just done. He's defeated.
Suddenly, with nowhere else to go, Reese is headed back to prison, while the McJester community is still in shock.
You know, a loose murderer out there by myself. Obviously, he was there by my tree stand, so that's very scary.
This time, he'll be locked up in the Varner Supermax unit, the most secure prison in the state.
I'm glad he's caught. I really am. It makes this little town here safer.
Now, Reese's alleged accomplices are facing charges, and Reese himself is also facing 10 more years in prison for his escape. Back to you guys.